Well, I thought today's live stream was absolutely epic. I loved every bit of it. I wasn't there specifically for the Ork news, I was there simply for Kill Team. But the stuff that's coming for Orks as well looks terrific, it really does. And we learned quite a lot today as well. We got a full look at the whole box and what's in it. We got to see a little snippets of the rulebook. They didn't take us through it, but I managed to take a screenshot that might be of interest. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, it wasn't just like a slow reveal or anything. We saw absolutely everything today in the Kill Team Octarius box, which is confirmed absolutely to be a new edition. So we've got the box art and the terrain and miniatures. We'll go through everything in a bit more detail in a minute, but for me, I was worried that we'd get a rescaled down new core set that, might not have had that much terrain, or that the terrain might have been less interesting than what we used to, not a lot of multi-level and that kind of thing. The terrain itself looks brilliant. I really, really like the look of it. I said yesterday from that trailer that I thought we might be getting some Ork-based terrain, and obviously we weren't let down. It looks really, really cool. So you can see everything a little bit better in this image. Obviously, again, we'll go through it all in a minute, but there's a considerable amount of stuff here. There was confirmation that the board size here is the same board size as we got in the original Kill Team set. So nothing has changed. They haven't changed board sizes to what we've got in 40k and that kind of thing. This is a board full of stuff. Right, a quick rundown of what's in the box, and again, we'll look at all the models in a little bit more depth in a minute. Death Corps of Krieg, we've got the Veteran Guardsman Kill Team. So we get 10 actual Veteran Guardsmen, and then we've got one little base that's got some medic kit and that kind of stuff on there. So that's what we've got for those. Over for the Ork Commando team, we've got 10 Ork Commandos. We've got a squig with some dynamite in his mouth, and we've got a little grot who looks pretty stealthy. We've got obviously the new core book with the Death Corps of Krieg on the cover there. That's great. We've got the Octarius manual. What that might be is that if you remember from the previous sets and from the kill zone boxes that used to come out, the kill zones, the terrain sets, they used to have the terrain rules and some information in those boxes as well. I think it's going to be the same sort of thing, but what I'm really hoping for in terms of how this game develops is that it's going to have some sort of campaign system similar to 40k Crusade, and hopefully that's going to start in this book. Next up, we've got some combat gauges and some dice. Now, it was interesting that they said that the game is you're going to be able to do away with the tape measure. I'm not entirely sure if that's completely or just for certain parts, but yeah, they've got a new system to do with these combat gauges that come in the box. So that is going to be interesting to find out more about as well as we go on. There's also 54 tactical ops cards. And then we've got token sets, the game board, and that awesome terrain. Okay, now they said that both sets of the kill teams are multi-part kits. So this is the first half of the Ork Commando team. So we can see they've all got different style of weapons on each model on this one. All looks very good. In terms of how multi-part it is, I'm not sure how that's going to work. When I think of multi-part, I think of you've got your individual base models with legs and torso, and you can add whatever you want onto it. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case here, or whether it's going to be that each model has got a one other option for weapons or something like that. But that's the first half of them. We can see that grot there as well, who's looking very, very stealthy. They did mention that there'll be some alternate heads for him and that kind of thing, but I'm not sure what else will be there. Now, the rest of our commandos, you can actually notice some very interesting stuff. So other than the squig, who looks really cool, we can see the guy in the top left-hand corner. Now, he hasn't actually got any guns on him. He's just full of knives. He can throw them. He's probably going to be really tasty in close combat. But you can see that each and every model it looks very, very different. So how this is going to turn into a unit for 40k, I'm not exactly sure. And again, worries about how transferable or how multi-part these kits are going to be. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But anyway, these look amazing. On to the Krieg. We can see a similar situation here where we've got some different loadouts. We've got some shotguns there. We've got, you know, some rifles and that kind of thing. We've got a demolitions expert there, the guy second from the right. So yeah, interesting stuff here as well. It was really interesting actually that they mentioned that everything in this box is eventually at some point going to be available on its own. So if you're looking for the Death Corps or the Commandos or just that terrain or anything like that, and you don't want to shell out for this set, you're going to be able to do it. You're going to be able to get those separately. But again, who knows how long it's going to be before that happens. So for example, when the Heavy Intercessors came out in the Pariah Nexus Kill Team box, it was around about 3 months before they were available separately on their own. Hopefully we won't have to wait that long when this comes out to get the bits individually. But again, we've got some really cool stuff here as well. So that guy in the middle, he's got next to him, he's got a medic box. So again, lots of different stuff here, all looking very, very cool. Now, I don't know what this means going forward for the Krieg, whether we can expect to see much more of their stuff in plastic or not. I really hope we can, because I know that lots of people are interested in collecting a Krieg army. But of course, since it's all on Forge World only up until now, with this release, that makes it extremely expensive. Right, now let's look at this terrain. I love it. It looks absolutely brilliant. Now, what I'm wondering is, that large piece at the top, is that one great big bit of terrain, or is it 3 different bits of terrain with 2 removable walkways? Because if it's the former, I will be building it and kit bashing it so as I can remove those walkways. But I've got a feeling that it won't just be one great big piece. So that as the centerpiece looks fantastic. And again, if we can remove those walkways, that's going to be really cool, because there's another couple of bits of terrain that can be stood upon that we might want to connect up and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it looks really cool. Next to that, you can just see some obvious cover with a hatchway, some sort of doorway that you can fire from. That looks very good. We've got another piece like that on the bit closer on the right. We've got a couple of what look like doorways as well. They look as though they can be stood upon as well. So lots of really, really cool stuff here. Again, we get even more climbable terrain. So there is a lot to this kit. Really more than I thought there would be. This is looking like a hell of a set. And when we get into the other Ork stuff that got announced, there's some more terrain which we'll look at in a minute. But yeah, this as a terrain set for me is everything I could have wanted. Now I know a release date and pricing and all that kind of thing is speculative, so we don't know what this is going to be. I can see it honestly being quite high in terms of price mark, but you just never know with Games Workshop at the moment. The second edition, or the newest edition of Blood Bowl that came out, was way cheaper than I thought it was going to be. You know, when I saw the set and everything that was going to be in it, I was expecting it to be well over £100, and it just wasn't. And the same here. My mind is floating off to that £125 mark, but you know, I really hope that they will offer it at the sub £100 mark. If they do that, then those of us that buy from Element Games and that kind of thing, we'll be able to get it at a good price. And I think where we are now with the pricing structures of Games Workshop and that kind of thing, this kind of set at that sort of price, I think most of us would be quite happy about it. Now, in terms of availability, it is a launch box. That is the wording they used yesterday, a launch box, but it's not ultra limited availability. They're saying that they're going to produce lots of copies, although when it's gone, it's gone. Now, I know that when Indomitus came out, it sold out within a couple of minutes. The popularity was so massive, so incredible, that they decided to do a reprint. I think that they learnt from that for when they brought out Dominion, and another Age of Sigmar as a game is going to be, well, it is less popular. It wouldn't have the high demand that Indomitus did when it did come out, but I think they learnt from a mistake there, and they made sure that, do you know what, if we only intend to print this once, let's make sure we really only have to print it once. I think that's the position they'll be coming from, and I think that's what they'll really want to stick to. Now, there's no announcement on release date or anything like that. I expect that it will be soon. I think within the next 6 weeks or so we'll see this. I know that in terms of these types of announcements, usually the maximum we have to wait from something announced to something coming out is about 3 months, but I think it's going to come along a little bit quicker than that. Now, just before we move on, I just wanted to go through this little screenshot I managed to grab. In terms of how the units stats are laid out and that kind of thing, this is what's in the new book. You can't read it very well at all here, but there was a worry, some people were worried about it, some people were excited about it, that in terms of the game itself would be moving towards a more Warcry style of play. Certainly from what we've got here, it doesn't suggest that. There is certainly some information here which we're not used to. There's some symbols on there, that kind of thing. Things are laid out differently from the way they were in original Kill Team. Original Kill Team was laid out pretty much just like a Warhammer 40k stat sheet. So things look slightly different here, but it doesn't look like it's too much of a departure at all from original Kill Team. But I'm really looking forward to finding out more. It does look really cool. Now let's have a look at some new Ork stuff. Now this stuff looks great. There's a lot of stuff as well. It's really expanding the ranks, giving us a lot of new stuff, which is overdue, obviously, but a lot of new stuff for the Orks. There's some real concentration on these for at least the next couple of months. So not only have we already got a massive amount of Ork terrain that's coming out in this Kill Team starter set for the new edition, but we've got those Commandos in that box as well, and we've got a lot of new stuff which we're going to go through now very quickly. Now, something I think we've been missing for some time really is some new Ork boys, and these ones are great. Here's the first half of them, but they just look brilliant. They look really, really cool. I had no intention of collecting an Ork army or anything like that, but I have to say after today's preview I'm starting to wobble a bit. I might have to invest a little bit more in this. Here we've got the Hunter rig. Looks amazing. There you go, the guy sitting on the back. This is all new stuff. There is a alternate build, I think, from the same box, and that is the Kill rig. So yeah, these things look amazing. They look really, really cool. Right, who's the boss? This is the Beast boss. I just love it. I love everything about these new Orks. They're really, really cool. This guy's an absolute monster. Another one, Mosrog Scragbad on the Great White Squig. Now, I don't know who comes up with these, but these designs are absolutely fantastic. They're everything I wanted out of new Orks for 40k. So, speaking on rideable squigs, here we've got a Beast boss on a Squigosaur. Now, I believe that might be the same box as the Great White Squig one, just with an alternate build. But, yeah, again, can't fault this stuff. Lots and lots of really cool stuff. Now, coming back after plenty of time in the wilderness, we have got the Death Copters. You'll have to cast your mind back quite some way to when we last had some Death Copters. Those are really old sculpts now, but again, these just look brilliant, really, really cool. Now, the last thing that we had for the Orks is another piece of new terrain, the Big Ed Boss Bunker. So this is going to work perfectly with the other stuff that's coming out in the Kill Team New Edition box, the Octarius box. Yeah, it just really cool. I wonder if we'll get even more terrain. I think that they might bring out another piece maybe, but I think Ork fans have definitely been spoiled with this announcement. Lots and lots of really cool new stuff coming out. Now, there was one last thing. It was a short piece of footage, a little bit of a tease for more 40k content, and that appears to be some new Black Templar stuff, which will be really interesting. I know that there's lots of big fans of Black Templar. I'm looking forward to some new dedicated stuff coming out for them. Now, that's it really, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I had an absolute blast today on that live stream. I'm so excited about the stuff that's coming out, and obviously, like many of you, I'm going to have to try really hard not to get a load of Ork stuff in the next couple of months. So yeah, I loved it all. Really, really cool. Now, speaking of cool, which is a word I've used far too much in this video, it's just dawned upon me. I must have said it 100 times already. But it would be very cool of you guys that if you want to support the channel, you can do so just by using my Element Games affiliate link, which is down in the description. If you do any of your purchases from there, you will help the channel by giving me a little kickback. But I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Tune in again soon. I have more Kill Team stuff very soon, as well as lots of other content just around the corner, including my first ever speed painting video. But that'll be up in the next week or so. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later.